Hey y'all, Irix Guy here, back again with another video. And within this video, I want to talk about why I made the switch from German vehicles to Japanese vehicles. So I'm going to be very transparent within this video. I do apologize in advance if some of my opinions make you feel upset. I'm not here to hide the possible emotional responses that you may have to this video. So to shoot it straight, and subscribe to my channel, ring that bell, and check out my car videos playlist. You'll see that I've been around the block with BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes, and I'm just going to go through kind of in a historical timeline here. So my experience with Mercedes, I had one that it wouldn't accelerate. Acceleration failed. I don't know of a better way to put it. So that was my Mercedes experience. That was a C-Class Mercedes back in the past. Now with Audi and Volkswagen, Volkswagen Audi Group, VAG, Volkswagen Audi Group, I've owned a Passat, Volkswagen, a Jetta, Volkswagen, an Audi A3, and an Audi A4. All of those vehicles encountered electronics issues. Now with my Jetta, fortunately, I was like, okay, all I'm going to have problems with, and check out my videos within my car videos playlist to see the videos of those issues I encountered. But the peace of mind was not there. German cars, as you know, they have a distinct feel, the steering dynamics, the connection with the road, with a German vehicle. Typically, and it's a matter of personal opinion, but typically people feel that a German car is the best. You know, and actually BMW's slogan, and I don't know if they still use it, but there for a while, to quote BMW, they referred to it as the ultimate driving machine. And that was actually the case, because in the past, BMW, got into BMW, the turning radius was phenomenal. They had enough horsepower, even if you didn't go with the super high spec BMWs, they had enough horsepower to be entertaining to drive. But even the lesser powerful BMWs, they still had those excellent driving dynamics. Now, I was shopping around, you know, admittedly, I got out of the Audi A4 when used car prices went through the roof. You know, me being a numbers guy, it made zero financial sense to sit on a car that had appreciated so rapidly. So I got out of it, and I got the Jetta as an interim vehicle. Now, I emphasize that. The Jetta is an interim vehicle. Nothing wrong with a Jetta. But when you're an old dude like I am, and you're used to driving the better performing German vehicles, that was a step backwards, but it was a temporary step backwards until I found what I wanted. Now, would I have thought that I would have gone Japanese? This is my first higher end, and this is not a high end vehicle. This is from Acura, this Integra, this 2024 Integra is the bottom of the barrel. Or is it? I mean, from a price perspective, it is. But check out my review video of this car. I mean, it is phenomenal. So the thing with the Germans, the reason I made the switch from the Germans to Japanese is Japanese vehicles. This is Acura, which is Honda. And then you've got Toyota and Lexus and Nissan and Infiniti. Nissan and Infiniti, my opinion, Infiniti in the past used to have some incredibly good looking cars. Now they've gone to all these little SUVs that nobody, well, I guess people want them because they're making them and selling them, but I don't want an SUV. So I didn't even consider Infiniti. Lexus is way too expensive. And I don't find Lexus's more entry level sports cars to be that good looking. And then the ones that are, dude, I'm not gonna blow that kind of money on a vehicle. But then there's Acura that's re-released the Integra. This Integra, it was last out, I think it was around 2021, and I don't think they reintroduced it until 2023. Now this is the 2024 Acura Integra, but it's just brought back, and I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. To look at this vehicle, if you put this vehicle directly beside, let's even say a higher spec BMW, let's say a BMW that costs 4 or 5 times as much as this car, just to look at it from a design perspective, you're probably going to think that BMW looks cheap. Now, BMW has never been one to overly embellish the interiors. it was always a car centered around driving, which is fine. But in recent years, when I look at a BMW, and I'd looked, when I was looking at this, I was also looking at the 2 Series, because if you're not familiar with BMW, they've gone throughout the years, what used to be a 3 Series, they've introduced all these new models. They had 1 Series for a while, then they had 2, or they've got 2 now, they've got 3, they got 4, they got 5, so it's become really confusing. But if you're a car guy and you wanted the BMW that was the shorter wheelbase, the one that's really going to be, you know, a solid performer, you're going to be looking at the 2 Series. But even to get into the 2 Series base, the price greatly exceeds the Integra. And if you get into the 2 Series M, which is their motorsports division, it's way up there. It's too much for what it is, in my opinion. Now, if you've got disposable income, that's fine. I'm sure it's a great and fun car to drive, but it just doesn't have the visual refinements, the use of quality interiors to make it feel like you're in a comfortable cabin while you're driving. Now, so Germans, you know, they have those excellent driving dynamics, and that's the case with BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, and even also Mercedes. Now, Mercedes is a weird one. You look at Mercedes in recent years, and I look to their website, they have, I mean, their cars just don't look good anymore, in my opinion. And then they started releasing all that stuff that's electric. That's a topic for another video. I'm not an electric car fan. I like an ICE, internal combustible engine. And I like hybrids too, but I'm not a fan of all electric. It's just personal preference. So for that reason, Mercedes has kind of killed themselves, in my opinion, assuming that their customers don't want electric. If people are wanting electric, then people might say, oh, Mercedes is cool because they've got all these electric cars. But so BMW, just the lack of design. I mean, I see a 2 Series or a 7 Series or 6 Series, whatever, going down the road, and I look at it, I'm not impressed from a visual perspective. Mercedes, like I said, they've gone primarily electric. They're killing off their cars. Volkswagen, they get you from A to B, but they're just not that inspiring to drive. Then you bump up to Audi. They look really good. Now, Audi is still a great looking car. I really like the Audi A5. But from my experience with Audi, I had the A3 and the A4, the electronics issues, not related to the comfort, the design, the performance, but the electronics issues just killed it for me. I mean, I didn't have any sort of confidence as a driver and a customer when I got behind the Audi that I wasn't going to have a problem. So for that reason, I made the switch to Japanese, and I probably wouldn't have had it not been for discovering the Integra. I didn't know, I mean, I follow cars, not religiously, but I do follow the cars that are coming out. I actually saw one of these in person, and I'm like, what is that? And I looked around, I'm like, that's an Acura? Because I'd never been interested in Acura in the past. In my mind, Acura was always just kind of it was a dressed up Honda, and it was boring. But this is not. I mean, this is a visually amazing vehicle. And then the comfort on the inside, check out my review video. I review the 2024 Acura Integra in depth. It's in this playlist, car videos playlist on my channel where you're watching this. But the driving dynamics of this, it has a different sound, it has a different feel than a German, but it's nice. And some people may preference the Japanese style driving dynamics and sounds versus the German style driving dynamics and sound. And I will tell you, this is a quieter cabin than most of the Germans. Most of the Germans, you have that very rigid feel, which I liked. You're very connected with the road, but you're still very connected. This is a solid performer, but you've got more of a luxury feel to the ride. Whereas German is typically all performance. This is a blend of performance and luxury. So, you know, you get a lot when you go with Japanese versus German cars. And from my perspective, as I've mentioned, I've just found the visual appearance of a lot of the German cars just to be boring. And if I was a customer, you know, I'm always looking at the base models or something a little bit up. But even if I had millions of dollars of disposable income and I could buy any German car I wanted to, just the visual appeal of those cars take price out of the picture. Over the past few years, it's been diluted. And I think a lot of that is due to a lot of car manufacturers now, they're preferencing the SUVs or the crossovers, whatever you want to call them. They're not cars. I like cars. So I think that's kind of created problems. And then also a lot of vehicle manufacturers are making this push, at least temporary push, to go to all electric, and I'm not a fan of that. So personal preference. But I stepped away from the Germans, primarily, as I mentioned, because of reliability concerns. I don't want to be driving something where I always question, well, what's going to break next? And it's just not a good feeling. But check out my video review of the 2024 Acura Integra that I have here. And again, I'm going to throw this up. This is very important stuff. If you're looking for an Acura, whether it's an Integra or something else, Schottenkirch Acura, man. Schottenkirch Acura. I'm going to move my face so it doesn't, let's see if we can focus on this here. Is that focusing? Let's see. Yeah, it is. So call Schottenkirch Acura and ask for Tommy Calhoun and tell Tommy, be like, hey man, Irix guy referred me to you. And that's very important to tell him that, because I want Tommy to know how much I appreciate just the great sales experience. I'm not a sales guy, but I know how the sales game works, and he was very informative, he was very professional, and most importantly, very efficient. Because the last thing you want to do is be researching a car for weeks or months or potentially years, and then get with a salesperson that's just really going to make the car buying experience miserable. Not with Tommy Calhoun. It's Schottenkirch Acura. So be sure to call Tommy Calhoun at Schottenkirch Acura and ask him any of your Acura questions, because he's a guru. I'm not a guru. I like cars, but he's a guru. So this is where it's at right now for me. What do you think? Am I stupid for abandoning German vehicles? Do you think it was a wise move? Some people aren't even car people. So if you're watching this and you're not a car person, you probably don't understand the mental challenges that one has when they're thinking about this. But I've always been a car guy within reason. I'm not getting into supercars. Now, if I become a penny stock multi-millionaire, then I may get one supercar just for the weekend or whatever. But until then, I mean, I like the cars that are in the base level. I don't want all the bells and whistles. I just want something that's comfortable to drive, that's a solid performer, and gets good fuel economy. That was one thing. This thing gets around close to 40 miles per gallon on highway, which is phenomenal when you look at this. But anyway, check out my separate video where I review this, but I wanted to explain why I switched from German vehicles to Japanese. What do you think? Comment below, subscribe, ring that bell, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Irix Guy here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.